Breaking news. Welcome to today's headlines. Who sold Nigeria to the British for 865,000 euro in 1899? Who sold Nigeria to the British for 865,000 euro in 1899? To my dear listeners, from wherever you're listening from, please stay tuned as I read today's news. When the Brits got the terms they wanted from other Europeans, they began to deal with the African chiefs. Within 2 years of 1886, Goldie had signed treaties with tribal chiefs along the Benue and Niger rivers, whilst also penetrating inland. This move inland was against the spirit of verbal agreement that had been made to restrict the organization's activities to coastal regions. This is the story of the First Oil War, which was fought in the 19th century in the area that became Nigeria. All through the 19th century, palm oil was highly sought after by the British for use as an industrial lubricant for machinery. Remember that Britain was the world's first industrialized nation, so they needed resources such as palm oil to maintain that. Palm oil, of course, is a tropical plant which is native to the Niger Delta. Malaysia's dominance came a century later. By 1870, palm oil had replaced slaves as the main export of the Niger Delta, the area which was once known as the Slave Coast. At first, most of the trade in the oil palm was uncoordinated, with natives selling to those who gave them the best deals. Native chiefs, such as former slave Jajar of Okpobo, became immensely wealthy because of oil palm. With this wealth came influence. However, among the Europeans, there was competition for who would get preferential access to the lucrative oil palm trade. In 1879, George Goldie formed the United African Company (UAC), which was modeled on the former East India Company. Goldie effectively took control of the lower Niger River. By 1884, his company had 30 trading posts along the lower Niger. This monopoly gave the British a strong hand against the French and Germans in the 1884 Berlin Conference. The British got the area that the UAC operated in, included in their sphere of influence after the Berlin Conference. When the Brits got the terms they wanted from other Europeans, they began to deal with the African chiefs within 2 years of 1886. Goldie had signed treaties with tribal chiefs along the Benue and Niger rivers, whilst also penetrating inland. This move inland was against the spirit of verbal agreement that had been made to restrict the organization's activities to coastal regions. By 1886, the company name changed to the National Africa Company and was granted a royal charter incorporated. The charter authorized the company to administer the Niger Delta and all lands around the banks of the Benue and Niger rivers. Soon after the company was again renamed, the new name was Royal Niger Company, which survived as Unilever till this day. To local chiefs, the Royal Niger Company negotiators had pledged free trade in the region. Behind, they entered private contract on their terms. Because the deceitful private contract were often written in English and signed by the local chiefs, the British government enforced them. So, for example, Jaja of Okpobo, when he tried to export palm oil on his own, was forced into exile for obstructing commerce. As an aside, Jaja was forgiven in 1891 and allowed to return home, but he died on the way back, poisoned with a cup of tea. Seeing what happened to Jaja, some other native rulers began to look more closely at the dues they were getting from the Royal Nigerian Company. One of such kingdoms was Nnamdi, whose king, Koko Mingi, ascended the throne in 1899 after being a Christian school teacher. Koko Mingi, King Koko for short, like most rulers in the yard, was faced with the Royal Nigeria Company encroachment. He also resented the monopoly enjoyed by the Royal Nigerian Company and tried to seek out favorable trading terms with particularly the Germans in Cameroon. To my dear listeners, now we've come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop by at the comment section and let's know what your view is all about. Thank you for listening.